everyone, my name is Meg and I'm a health and wellness intern at Boston Children's Museum. Today I'm inviting you all to join me in family yoga. We usually hold family yoga every Friday at the museum, but today I'm coming to you virtually so that you can join in just using your body and some energy right from the comfort of your own home. Any way you want to do this activity is perfectly fine. You can follow my movements exactly or do it your own way. Some people might want to sit down and some people might want to stand up. There's no wrong way to do this activity. We'll start our time today by taking a few deep breaths and calming our bodies down and getting ready for yoga. Caregivers and parents, if you have little ones, sometimes it can be fun to mold them into the poses as we go along, but I encourage you either way to join in with your kiddo in this activity. We'll start with a breathing exercise that's a little bit silly, but I promise it's fun. We're going to take some deep breaths in like we're smelling a really big flower. And then we're gonna blow out our breath and exhale. And when we do that, we're gonna go, wah. It's really silly, but it's a really good way to take some deep breaths and get your body ready. Let's pretend we're picking a really big flower. Do you have your flower? Now let's take a big deep breath. Smell that flower and blah. Get that face nice and warmed up. Here, let's try it one more time. Pick your big flower out of the field. Deep breath and bah. That's a really silly breathing exercise, but it's really good to take deep breaths, especially when you're ready to get your wiggles out. For our first pose, we're going to stand with our feet flat on the floor, like a statue, hands by our sides, nice and still. And this is called our statue pose. So let's pretend that we're statues that are slowly coming to life, maybe with little wiggles at our fingers. Can you get the wiggles out of your fingers? Just like you're a statue, the rest of your body is so still, except your fingers are getting a little bit wiggly. Now maybe those wiggles are spreading into the statue's arms. Can you get some wiggles out of your arms? How do you wiggle? Do you wiggle slow? Do you wiggle fast? Do you wiggle really big? Do you wiggle really small? There's so many different ways you can wiggle, and you can try them all out here. Now let's see, our statue feels like it needs to come to life a little bit more. What about in our legs? Do our statues have wiggly legs now? Feels like they're coming to life. Can you wiggle high? Can you wiggle low? Can you wiggle in a circle? Can you wiggle really slow? Can you wiggle really fast? Woo! And can you stand still like a statue? That one's really fun. Are you feeling really wiggly? I hope you are. I'm certainly feeling very wiggly. For our second pose, we're going to stay standing just like we did in statue pose, but this time we're going to add some balance. So see if you can balance on just one leg. You can pick whichever leg you want. It doesn't matter for this pose. But you're going to bring one foot and rest your ankle just above your kneecap. So my other leg is straight, flat on the floor, and this leg is bent. Now I'm going to raise my arms up like tree branches. This is called our tree pose. So let's pretend that we're a bunch of trees blowing around in the wind, and there's a light breeze. If you need help balancing, you can hold on to your grown-up or a wall if you have one close to you. But we're going to pretend that the wind is blowing. Just a little bit of wind is blowing through our leaves. You can wiggle your fingers and pretend you can feel that wind blowing. Now a little bit more wind. It's getting a little bit windy. Can you wiggle your arms? Can you wiggle your branches and your leaves all at once? That's a lot of wind. Let's calm our wind down. Let's go nice and slow. Because I think even more wind is about to come. And it's going to blow our tree so much. We're wiggling our branches, our leaves, everything until it knocks our tree down to the ground. Wow, that was a lot of wiggling. So when we move on to our third pose, we're going to stand back up on our 2 feet, nice and flat like this. And one leg is going to be straight out behind me, and the other leg is going to be bent out front. My arms are straight across, and this is called our Warrior Two pose. I wonder if warriors like to wiggle. I'm sure when they get done with a really tough battle, sometimes they need to get their wiggles out too. So let's see if we can just wiggle our fingers. while in warrior two pose. Can you wiggle your fingers? What about your hands? Our hands haven't done a lot of wiggling. We've been wiggling our fingers a lot. Let's wiggle our hands a little bit. What about our arms? Can you wiggle your arms in all different directions? Can you wiggle, what else can we wiggle? Can you wiggle your head? Can you wiggle your belly? Can you wiggle your toes while in warrior two pose? So much wiggling going on. And you can stand still. Our next pose we're going to call egg pose. Some people call it child's pose when doing yoga, but for today, we're going to be baby birds tucked cozy inside of our eggs. In order to get into this pose, we'll sit down on our knees like this. To get inside our eggs, we have to make our bodies really tight and compact. So we're gonna reach our arms up, bend over till they touch the ground, and then we'll tuck our arms in. Is your body nice and tight? Is your head tucked in? Can you wiggle in this position? Can you wiggle your head? Can you wiggle your arms? What about your back? We're like tiny little birds, tucked cozy inside our eggs, waiting to hatch. Can you take a deep breath here? It's kind of hard to wiggle. I think we need to crack out of these eggs. So let's start getting some little wiggles going. As if we're about to break out of our eggs. We're getting ready to hatch. It's springtime. All the birds are breaking out of their eggs. They're getting ready to learn how to fly. Let's see if we can break open with big wiggles. Can you use big wiggles to break out of your egg? What about flapping your wings? Can you break out of your egg and flap your wings? Get all of those wiggles out? I'm sure baby birds have to get their wiggles out when they come out of their eggs from being tightly packed in. So once you've gotten all your wiggles out, you are all set to move on to your next pose. To end our time together, we're gonna sit in our crisscross leg pose once again. We've done a lot of wiggling today, so let's calm our bodies back down with a little stretching exercise with our necks. For this stretch, just like a clock goes tick, tock, we're gonna do that with our heads. So let your head fall over to one side, get your neck a big stretch right here, and we're gonna go tick, and switch sides, tock, just like a clock tells time. Tick, tock. You can even take a couple deep breaths here too. Tick, tock. Isn't that relaxing after all of that wiggling? Tick, tock. And finally, let's take a deep breath in, raise our arms up to the sky, touching our hands together. And with your hands touching, let's draw a big circle with our bodies. Over down to one side, as far as you can stretch your body all the way around. And then the other side. This is a good stretch, especially for your back muscles. Now you can let your arms fall to the side, and let's take one more deep breath. Thank you so much for wiggling with me today in Family Yoga. Remember to keep checking our Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram for more fun videos of at-home activities for the next few weeks. Thanks for watching.